Hello and good morning to everyone. My name is Alok Sharma and you are watching Fiken Classes. Let's hit the concepts. So in the previous lecture, we have discussed about differentiation and almost we have completed everything. Some of the 2-3 topics are remaining and that I'll be covering in further lectures. And in this lecture, we are starting integration. Integration is basically a method to find out the area under any curve. So we will understand how this integration tool is used. This integration is basically a tool to find out the area. Okay, so integration, how it is useful to find out the area, where it is useful to find out the area, and what kind of integrations we have, definite and indefinite integrals, that we will discuss. And in this particular lecture we will be only focusing on indefinite integral. Definite integral will come up in the next lecture. Okay, so let's just start.
Okay, so now let us discuss this problem that I gave you in the previous lecture. So y is a function of x, which is given as y is equals to x square by 2 plus 1 by x. So for this thing, we need to find out maxima or minima, anything or both. So whatever is available. Okay, so after solving, we will get to know whether it is only giving maxima, only giving minima, or it is giving both. Okay, so y is given as x square by 2 plus 1 by x. Fine. So dy by dx will be, for any maxima or minima, we need to find out dy by dx, and dy by dx we have to equate it to 0 so that we can find out the value of x, where we are going to get either maxima or minima, and that depends on second derivative whether that value is going to be maxima or minima at that point. Okay, so now y dash, or dy by dx also you can call it, dy by dx, this is going to be equal to, see, for x square what is the differentiation? For x square it is 2x, so 2x divided by 2 plus, for 1 by x, when it is 1 by x, 1 by x can also be written as, see here, 1 by x can also be written as x to the power of minus 1. So when x to the power of minus 1, here n value is minus 1. And what is the derivative of x to the power n? X to the power n derivative is n x to the power n minus 1. So when n is minus 1, in that case, that means x to the power minus 1, the derivative is going to be minus 1. X to the power of minus 1 minus 1, that is minus 2. That is minus 1 x to the power minus 2. So this can also be written as minus of 1 by x square. Are you understanding this thing? So this differentiation is going to be 1 by x square with a negative sign. Clear? Yes. So now this can be equated to 0 to find out the x value at which, whether it will be maxima or minima. We don't know whether it is maxima or minima, but either it can be maxima or it can be minima. So when you are equating it to 0, see 2 and 2, first of all it can be cancelled. Okay. So now x is equals to 1 by x square. From this equation we are writing. Okay. Now from this equation we can write x cube is equals to 1. So when x cube is equals to 1, what will be the value of x? Value of x is going to be plus 1. Is it possible that the value of x will be minus 1? Is it possible that we can take the value of x to be minus 1? Is it possible? No. Why? Because if we are taking the cube of minus 1, it will be minus 1 multiplied with minus 1 multiplied with minus 1. So minus 1 will be 1. Fine. Then multiplied with minus 1, this answer is going to be minus 1. So minus 1 to the power cube is going to give you minus 1 answer. So x cannot be minus 1 in this equation. Understand? Why? Because the cube of minus 1 is minus 1 itself. It's not plus 1. So for that, x should always be plus 1. So here x will be equals to 1. Now just find out the second derivative, so that, see, why we need to find out the second derivative, tell me? So that we'll be able to find out whether the function is maxima or minima. Understand? So let us find out. I'm just doing it here. Okay, I'm just doing it here. d2y by dx square. So second derivative of this equation, Just derive this one again. So derivation of x is 1, fine. Then minus 1 by x square derivative, if you find out using the same technique, it will be equals to minus 2, so it will become 3. Minus 1, keep it like this. And then x to the power minus 2. What will be the derivative of x to the power minus 2? It will be minus 2 divided by x cube. Clear? So this answer is going to be 1 plus 2 by x cube. Clear? 1 plus 2 by x cube. That means second derivative d2y by dx square is 1 plus this one. Now we have to find out the second derivative value at which point? At which point? At x is equals to 1. So when x is equals to 1, it will be equals to 1 plus 2 divided by 1, which is 1. So answer is going to be 3. So whether this value is positive or negative. That means second derivative d2y by dx square is coming out to be positive. If second derivative is coming out to be positive, that means the point is minima. Clear or not? Second derivative is positive, that means the point is minima. That means this function is having a minima at x is equals to 1. Now find out what is the value of y at x is equals to 1. That will be our final answer. So at x is equals to 1, it will be 1 square by 2 plus 1 by 1. That is equals to 1 by 2 plus 1. 1 by 2 plus 1 is 3 by 2. So that is the answer. Understand? This was a simple problem. Okay. So starting with concept of integration. So we are starting integration here. So till now we have understood what is differentiation. What is differential element? Differential element is an element that is very, very small, and any positive number, however small it is, will always be greater than dx. That is the differential element, right? So now here integration. Integration is actually, it is an area finding process. It's an area finding process. Now tell me, if I give you a rectangle, can you find the area? If I give you the rectangle with length and width, can you find out the area? Yeah, you can find out the area. If I give you a circle, can you find out the area? Definitely easily. Pi r square, you can find out the area. For square, a square, you can find out the area. Right? Area is a square. For triangle, half into base into height, that will be the area. Right? So for these geometrical shapes, with defined geometrical shape, we know what will be the area. Right? But if, let's suppose, if we have a particular shape which is irregular, in that case, how are you gonna find the area? For example, just look at here. See, if I have a function like this, so this is what xy coordinate. Xy coordinate. If a function is like this, which is a function of x, that is y is equals to 3 or any other constant. So let's suppose this value is 3, and it is starting from a, x is equals to a, to x is equals to b. Better take any constant, okay? Better take any constant. So when taking 3, better take any constant k. Okay. So now you can write. So let's suppose this is y is equals to k. Any constant it is, okay? K. Now if I tell you that find out the area of this section, this hatched portion, what will be the area? Then we can just look at the graph, because y is equals to a constant thing, that is y value is not changing with x. X is changing from a to b, but y is not changing. So in that case, this particular length from here to here, this length is constant, right? This length is constant. And what will be the length? Tell me. Length is going to be k only, right? And the other side, this a to b, what is the length? Here, what will be the length? This length is going to be the final value of x minus initial value of x, b minus a. This is the length, right? Now, if I tell you to find out the area of this particular hatched portion, then you can just imagine this to be a rectangle, and then width multiplied with height, or length into width. Take anything and then you can find out the area. So tell me what will be the area here? Here the area is going to be base is b minus a multiplied with, tell me, multiplied with height, that is k. So this is going to be your area. So it is very simple to find out the area here. Why? Because this function was a constant, it is not changing. Even if it is changing and it is a straight line, even if the function is changing but it is a straight line and it is moving from A to B, then also what we can do, we can divide this area into two, this area 1 and area 2, like this, area 2, this area 1, and then one is triangle, the another one is rectangle. Again you can find out the area easily. So here also it is easy to find out the area, right? But what if the function is like this? This is function of x is equal to y. In this case, how will you find out the area? This becomes difficult, and that is why integration concept came into picture. So if you have drawn this diagram, I'll just rub everything off here. So now just listen to me and try to understand. No? Now let's suppose this is the curve. Now see, if I have to find out the area from A to B, now what I can do here is better to make it again. I'll just make it like this. Okay, fine. Now what we can do is divide this full area into small rectangles and find out the area of rectangle. That we can do, because area of rectangle we can find out. Now the formula for area of rectangle we know. So what I am going to do, I am going to divide this into number of rectangles. Okay, so I'll just make rectangle here like this. Now what we can do, we can find out the area of rectangle and sum it up. This area 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So area 1 plus area 2 up to area 6. That will give you total area, right? But here in this case, you can see, you may have noticed that we are leaving this area. This particular area is left, right? If this particular area is left, our final answer, that is this final area, is going to have some kind of what? Error, right? It is going to have some kind of error. Now to eliminate or to reduce this error, what I can do? Next step that I can do is here. Just reduce the width of our rectangle. If we reduce the width of our rectangle, just think of this. That color on it. Just make it half. Now make it half. Make it half like this. Now, if you reduce the width of your rectangle, now what is going to happen? Now the area which is left, because now this is going to be like this, right? Or better, I should draw another diagram. Let me draw another diagram here to explain it. Now, if you take more number of rectangles like this, right? So these rectangles will be like this. So now here Now here see this area that was producing error. Previously this area was producing error. Now this area we are not calculating. We are not adding in the area, right? This area, this yellow color, yellow mark area, this was only creating this error, producing error, right? So now this area has been reduced. If number of rectangles we are increasing, the area is going to increase. This error in the calculation of area, is going to be reduced. Understood? This thing is it clear? If you are taking more number of rectangles, if you are dividing A B, that is the area between A and B, in more number of rectangles, then the error produced in finding the area is going to be reduced, right? This is the simple technique. So if the error is reducing by increasing the number of rectangles, then why don't we choose infinite number of rectangles in between A and B? See, the gap between, or the width of this rectangle is delta x. Width of this rectangle is what? Delta x. And at sorry. So and at this point, what is the value of y? Y value will be functional value at this point. If this is the starting point, this will be a. So fa. Then next point will be some f of x1. Then next point will be some f of x2. Then final point will be some f of b. Right. So similarly, it will move. Understand it properly now here. See. We have to find out this area from A to B in x-axis, and this is representing y-axis. So y is nothing but functional value at any given x, right? So what will be the functional value at this point? At this point, it will be function value at A, right? Similarly, at this topmost point, it will be equals to functional value at B. Clear? Now, if I divide it into 4 parts like this. So let's suppose this is x1, this is x2, this is x3. Okay, and this rectangles are going to be like this. This is 1, 2, 3, and 4. Clear? And the gap means the width is delta x. Let's suppose this is delta x. So if I want to find out this total area I can find out as a1 plus a2 plus a3 plus a4, right? Correct or not? So that will be equals to, what is a1 value? Tell me, what is a1 value? How to find out a1? a1 will be equals to this width multiplied with this length. And what is that length? What is this length? Tell me this length, red color. This length is equals to functional value fa. So what we can write, this is delta x multiplied with functional value is going to be, delta x multiplied with functional value is going to be what? Tell me. That will be the area of 1. So delta x multiplied with functional value at A. Or understand like this. And then second area is going to be, tell me, delta x is common for all the rectangles. Delta x is common. This value is changing. So here functional value will be f at x1. Here functional value will be f at x2. Here it will be f at x3. Clear? So now it will be delta x into functional value at x2. And similarly it will be for third one, delta x multiplied with functional value at x3. Fourth one will be delta x multiplied with functional value at x4. Clearly. So in this way it will move. So in a normal way, we can write in mathematical format sigma. Sigma means summation. So sigma functional value at any given x, and x value is going to change 1, 2, 3, 4. When you are moving forward in the x direction, x value is changing or not? x1, x2, x3. So x value is changing. Summation of f of xi multiplied with delta x. That will give you total area. there will be some kind of error in the area, and that error we can represent it like this. This error, I am just hatching this error. And to eliminate or to reduce this error, what we need to do? We need to increase number of rectangles. We reduce delta x, increase the number of rectangles, and the area, that is hatching area, is going to reduce. Right? So this is one way. This is one way of finding the area. That find out the functional value multiplied with delta x. That is it. So functional value multiplied with delta x. Functional value multiplied with delta x. So this you can do for thousands of times. Can you do it? So this is here only 4 rectangles are there, so you can easily calculate. If I take 100 rectangles in between, calculation will be difficult. If I take 1000 rectangles, it will be even more difficult. So if this delta x is being reduced, slowly I am reducing it, error is going to reduce. Let's suppose I am taking infinite number of rectangles in between. In that case, what will happen? Delta x will tend to 0. It will be approximately equal to 0. That means we can write what? In place of delta x, we can write dx. Do you remember differentiation? When delta x tends to 0, x can be written as, delta x can be written as dx. Dx is the differential element, which is not 0, but it is tending towards the 0. So in that case, we have a mathematical tool for finding out the area with 100% efficiency. That means there is not going to be any kind of error in finding the area, and that tool is called as integration. So here this summation tool is called as summation sign. So in place of summation, we can use integration sign. This snake kind of sign. Now this is integration sign, and with dx, function of x, this area can be calculated accurately. 100% accurate area can be calculated using integration, which is a mathematical tool. Integration of functional. See, this curve is actually drawn out of some function of x. Y is equals to function of x. Right? Now this functional value, you just write it here, multiply with dx and integrate it from a to b, and then you will find out the answer. You just have to understand what is the integration tool used for, and then we will see what is the formulas, how to solve this integration f of x dx. How to solve it, we will see it later. But first of all, you should understand what is integration. Integration is the tool to find out area when the curve is any kind of curve it is available. In that case, when this geometry is going to be irregular, in that case we need to find out the area using integration. Directly we cannot find out area. For a regular shape, we can find out the area. Understand? So the summation of number of summation, we cannot do it. Thousands of calculation, we cannot do it. Now, for that, there is a tool which is called as integration. Yes, that will give you area with minimal error. Minimum error. Clear? Now see here I have shown some number of formulas over here, and you just take a screenshot, or better you stop the video and write down all these formulas, because next what we are going to do, we are going to just solve the problems based on these formulas. Directly we have to use the formula and solve the problem. Okay, see, actually the thing is, differentiation and integration, they are just reverse of each other. See, in differentiation we have seen x to the power n, differentiation is n x to the power n minus 1. That means if you integrate n x to the power n minus 1 dx, it will give you x to the power n. Just opposite. Understand? Differentiation of this thing will give you x to the power n is giving you n x to the power n minus 1. If you integrate n x to the power n minus 1, you will get this value. That is the relation between differentiation and integration. They are just opposite. Okay. Now let's move on and try to solve some problem. Okay. So here we have 4 problems. We'll be solving all these. Okay. So first problem is e to the power x dx. What was the differentiation of e to the power x? E to the power x only, right? Differentiation of e to the power x is same, e to the power x. So the integration of e to the power x will be e to the power x only. Okay, so here this question I am solving. So 1 by 6, see, 6 is a constant value. Constant value can be taken out of the integration, no problem. Then integration of e to the power x dx. What is the integration of e to the power x? E to the power x itself. So e to the power x by 6. Okay, now this one more point I'm going to tell you. Whenever with an integration, if there is no limit, previously I told you it is moving from a to b. In the previous topic, I told you integration is starting from a, it is ending at b. If this a and b, these are called as limits, these are called as limits. If these things are not given, that means the integration is called as indefinite integration. It is called as indefinite integration. Okay. And if the limits are given, that is called as definite integration. Here we know the limits. When we know the limits, it is called as definite. When we don't know the limit, it is indefinite. Clear? Now, so when we are solving indefinite integration, in that case, we have to follow one rule. That is, we need to add a constant after the integration. We need to add what? Constant after the integration. Okay, so this e to the power x dx, when integrated, it does not have any kind of what? It does not have any kind of limit. So when it does not have any kind of limit, in that case, when it is not having any kind of limit, we need to add a constant. That is the rule. Okay, so the answer will be e to the power x divided by 6 plus constant. Okay, now let us solve the second problem. So 5 upon x dx. Okay, tell me in differentiation, what was the differentiation of ln x, natural log x? For natural log x, the differentiation was 1 by x. So for 1 by x, integration will be ln x. Understand? So here this 5 can be taken as constant. 1 by x, integration will be ln x. So integration of 1 by x dx. So this is going to be 5 and 1 by x dx will be ln x plus a constant. Clear? It's very simple. Again 3 you can take it out as constant and then integration of cos x dx. Tell me, for sin x, what was the differentiation? Cos x. So for cos x, what should be the integration? Sin x. So it is going to be 3 sin x plus 6. Clear? The next one is now here see, integration of x cube. For integration, the formula is x to the power n. The integration formula is x to the power n plus 1 divided by n plus 1. This you remember. You see the chart. It's like this only. Okay. So here I can write the integration. Integration can be divided to each and every term. That is integration of x cube by 2 plus integration of x square minus integration of 3x plus integration of b. Clear? And dx will be with all the terms. Clear? Now, integration of x cube by 2. That will be equals to x to the power 3 plus 1 divided by 3 plus 1. So that will be x to the power 4 divided by 4 and there is 2 already present. Okay. So for x square it will be x cube by 3 minus 3 into for x it will be x square by 2. For this constant, that is integration of b, for any constant the integration is, or for 1 the integration is x. So for b, integration is going to be b into x. It is the answer. Clear? Or what you can do for this particular thing I am explaining, the integration of b dx I am explaining. Okay, b is a constant. So what you can do, you can take out b, then integration of 1 dx. So integration of 1 dx is x only. How, sir? How you got x means 1 can be written as x to the power 0. Write 1 as x to the power 0. Then integration will be x to the power 0 plus 1 divided by 0 plus 1. So that is x only. So dx. Okay? So all these questions are done. This is very simple. Now coming to integration by parts. So it's a tactic or method used to solve some complex functions. Some complex functions can be solved using integration by parts. Okay. So here what we do is we are going to assume some of the quantity and put it into the given equation. So here see this one is looking a little bit complex. You cannot directly integrate it. So what we are going to do, we are going to assume x cube plus 1 to be equal to some another thing. Let's suppose it is u. Let's suppose it is u. Now what we can do, just differentiate both the sides. Differentiate both the sides. So how do we differentiate x cube? X cube differentiation will be 3x square dx, right? And differentiation of 1 is, for constant the differentiation is 0, right? So the next differentiation of u will be du, right? So from here we can write x square dx is equals to du divided by 3, correct or not? And x cube plus 1 is equals to u. So using these two equations, we are going to put in the given equation. So how we can write here is, see, x square and dx, combinedly it can be written as du by 3, right? Now, x cube plus 1 can be written as u. So, under the root of u du by 3. So, now this integration can be solved. See, 1 by 3 can be taken out, it is the constant thing. Then u under the root u means u to the power of half du. Now u to the power half du, what will be the integration? U to the power half plus 1 divided by half plus 1, right? So now this can be written as 1 by 3, then half plus 1 is u to the power of 3 by 2 divided by 3 by 2. So this 2 can be taken in the numerator, and hence this answer will be 2 by 9 u to the power 3 by 2. And now after solving integration, what we can do? We can put the u value back. So that will be equals to 2 by 9. What is the u value? X cube plus 1 to the power of what? 3 by 2. So this will be our answer. Plus one more thing that we need to keep in mind is, whenever there is indefinite integral, we need to put a constant. So in all the steps you need to add a constant. Add a constant. In answer also there will be one constant. Yes, because it is indefinite integral. Okay. So now coming to this second problem. So this is x sine 1 plus x square. Again it is a complex one, right? So when it is complex, we can go for integration by parts, or we can say we can assume some of the quantity as some another variable. Let us take again 1 plus x square is equal to u. Now in this case, differentiate both sides. Differentiation of 1 is 0 plus differentiation of x square will be 2x, then dx will be equal to differentiation of u will be du. Right? Now x dx can be written as what? Du by 2. Yes. Now these two equations we have to use it in here. See, integration of x and dx. In place of x and dx, we can write du by 2. Fine. The rest of the thing is sine 1 plus x square. 1 plus x square can be written as u, sine u. Clear? So this integration, see, du by 2, 1 by 2 can be taken out of the integration. Then it will be equal to sine u du. Clear? Then integration of sine u. What is the integration of sine u? You remember? Minus cos u. So it will be equal to 1 by 2 minus cos u. And plus we are doing one thing, that is after integration After integration, we have to add one constant here. Okay. Now, as this integration is done, minus 1 by 2 cos u. So in place of u, what we can write? In place of u, we have to write 1 plus x square plus c. So this will be our answer. Understand? Clear or not? So this is integration by part. So let me give you some homework so that you can do it. Integration by part. Based on integration by part only, I am going to give you some homework. So just take it 2x divided by 1 by 2x divided by 1 plus. This question is integration of 2x divided by 1 plus x square dx. This question you have to solve. Okay, and write your answer in the comments. So just keep on learning and be safe, and please like the video if you like it. Okay, bye bye.